And remember that there is no master race. That is a scientific truth. Anyone who tells you otherwise is lying.
But in this country, we have no other people. We are American people.
What about you? You aren't American, are you?
I was born in Hungary, but now I am an American citizen. And I have seen what this kind of talk can do. I saw it in Berlin. I was a professor at the university. I heard the same words we have heard today. But I was a fool then. I thought Nazis were crazy people, stupid fanatics. But unfortunately, it was not so. You see, they knew that they were not strong enough to conquer a unified country. So they split Germany into small groups. They used prejudice as a practical weapon to cripple the nation. Of course, that was not easy to do. They had to work hard to do it. You see, we human beings are not born with prejudices. Always they are made for us. Made by someone who wants something. Remember that when you hear this kind of talk. Somebody is going to get something out of it. And it isn't going to be you.
The reason why we know fascism is possible is because it already happened once, and it happened in places that are not so distant from us, either in place or in time. It's patently clear that some of the people who are involved in current politics are people who have learned from the 1920s and 1930s and are borrowing some of the tactics of the 1920s and 1930s.
What are the tactics you think that are being borrowed?
The fundamental tactic which has been borrowed is a rhetorical one. So there's a notorious manual to propaganda which was composed in a Munich prison beginning in 1924, which advises that what you should do in political propaganda is always find simple slogans and repeat them over and over again with the effect of dividing your listeners into us and them. That has clearly been revived as a tactic on both sides of the Atlantics. More basically, the idea that politics is not about reasoned dispute towards constructive policy, but politics is in fact fundamentally about friends and enemies. That's a basic fascist idea, which was articulated maybe most famously by Carl Schmitt. That has clearly returned as a tactic.
If what they are doing, though, is harnessing the popular will of a majority, what's wrong with what they're doing?
I mean, the answer to your question is the essence of the tradition of Anglo-Saxon law going back to the Magna Carta. There's a reason why we have law, and the reason why we have law is that law comes before the king, or in modern times, law comes before the ruler, which means law comes before whatever momentary urges the ruler might say that he is embodying. So if we say whatever we think at this particular moment is what goes, that means we're saying goodbye to law, we're saying goodbye to predictability, we're saying goodbye to the basis of the system that we have.